Ladies and gentlemen, seekers of wisdom and truth, today we will embark on a journey that bridges ancient Buddhist philosophy with a seemingly simple detail of our lives, the last digit of our birth year. At first glance, it might sound trivial, just a single digit at the end of a number. But in Buddhist wisdom, nothing in life is random or meaningless. Everything is interconnected. Every small symbol, every number, even every breath we take, carries a vibration, a lesson, and a deeper meaning. Shi Heng Yi, a renowned Shaolin master and Buddhist teacher, often reminds us that life speaks to us in symbols. These symbols guide us toward understanding ourselves, our nature, and our spiritual path. So today, let's unlock the hidden wisdom behind the last digit of your birth year. Let's explore how this number may reflect aspects of your personality, your struggles, your inner strengths, and your life's karmic lessons. For those whose birth year ends with the digit 0, Buddhist wisdom opens a profound door to understanding the concept of niyata, or emptiness. Now, let us first clarify in Buddhism, emptiness does not imply void, hollowness, or something missing. It's not a state of lacking. Rather, it refers to the space of infinite possibility, the blank canvas of the universe where all creation begins and ends. The digit 0 is unique. It holds space for all other numbers, yet it itself represents nothing specific and everything at once. In Buddhist philosophy, this reflects the reality that all things are interconnected and interdependent. Everything arises due to causes and conditions, and nothing possesses a fixed, independent self-nature. Just like the number 0, your life may sometimes feel undefined, open-ended, and lacking clear boundaries. But within that open space lies the most incredible potential for growth, transformation, and rebirth. For individuals born under this digit, there's often an underlying feeling of being at the starting line, no matter how far they've come. They may constantly feel like beginners in life, frequently resetting their goals, questioning their direction, and seeking new paths. This restlessness, though frustrating at times, is not a flaw, it's an invitation. It's life's way of pushing you towards self-inquiry, exploration, and spiritual awakening. Another important aspect tied to the energy of 0 is non-attachment. Just like the shape of the 0, circular, ungraspable, with no beginning and no end, your life may present cycles. Relationships, careers, and opportunities may come and go in loops. The Buddhist lesson here is to observe these cycles with mindfulness, not clinging to what comes nor resisting what goes. Understand that nothing is permanent, yet within each ending is the seed of a new beginning. Master Shi Heng Yi often teaches about the power of starting from 0, of returning to the beginner's mind. This mindset allows you to remain open, teachable, and resilient. People with 0 energy are often old souls, born with karmic imprints that push them to seek deeper meaning in everything they experience. They are often drawn to spiritual paths, philosophical questions, and existential inquiries. However, one of your biggest challenges is dealing with uncertainty. The undefined nature of 0 can create anxiety about the future, confusion about identity, and a fear of never being enough. It's easy for someone with this energy to feel lost at times, to struggle with direction, or to fall into patterns of overthinking. To counter this, Buddhist mindfulness practices like vipassana meditation or Zen contemplation are especially healing for people with this birth digit. These practices help cultivate presence, clarity, and acceptance of the now, reducing the mind's tendency to drift into existential doubt. You are called to become comfortable with the unknown, to celebrate your unique space of emptiness, and to use it as a springboard for creativity, compassion, and awakened living. You are the fertile soil where anything can grow, the silence before the music begins, the space between breaths where true peace can be found. For those whose birth year ends with the digit 1, life's spiritual lesson is centered around individuality, leadership, and the deep Buddhist teaching of the illusion of separation. The number 1 stands tall, singular, and independent. It represents new beginnings, originality, and self-initiation. In numerology and symbolism, 1 is the pioneer, the first to step forward, often the one who forges new paths where none existed before. But while this energy may sound empowering, it comes with its own set of karmic challenges and spiritual lessons. In Buddhist philosophy, there's a teaching known as anatta, or non-self, which reminds us that the idea of a fixed, permanent, and separate self is an illusion. Everything that we identify as I is in fact a temporary arrangement of thoughts, sensations, and experiences that change from moment to moment. But for people influenced by the energy of the number 1, the ego, the sense of me, mine, and I am different, tends to be especially strong. This can manifest in both beautiful and challenging ways. On the positive side, individuals with the energy of 1 are often innovative thinkers, natural-born leaders, and people who inspire others with their courage and confidence. They are not afraid to stand alone for what they believe is right. They dare to take risks, explore new territories, and voice their unique opinions even when others remain silent. Their presence often commands attention, and their decisions can influence the lives of many. However, this strong sense of individuality can also lead to feelings of isolation, loneliness, and disconnection from others. There may be periods in life where you, as a number 1, feel misunderstood, unsupported, or emotionally distant from those around you. This is because the illusion of separation, the belief that I am different or I must do this alone, can dominate your mindset. Buddhist teachings guide you towards dissolving this illusion. While you are unique, you are not separate. Just as one wave rises distinctly above the ocean surface, it still remains part of the vast sea. Interconnectedness, pratityasamutpada, is a foundational concept in Buddhism that reminds us every being, every action, and every thought is part of a larger web of existence. Another karmic lesson for people with this digit is learning to balance self-reliance with collaboration, personal ambition with compassion, and confidence with humility. Your journey may often push you into leadership roles not because you crave power, but because life tests your ability to lead with heart rather than ego. A strong ego, if left unchecked, can lead to arrogance, stubbornness, or the inability to ask for help when it's most needed. The Buddhist path invites you to develop mindfulness of your inner dialogue, to question the stories your ego creates, and to soften the walls that separate you from others. Meditation practices that focus on loving kindness, metta bhavana, are especially helpful for people influenced by the number 1. These practices encourage you to send goodwill, love, and positive intentions not just to yourself, but also to others, dissolving the imaginary boundaries that keep you isolated. Master Shi Heng Yi often speaks about true strength arising when the ego dissolves. This means that the more you let go of the false belief that you are alone in your struggles, the more you will find support, connection, and meaningful relationships appearing in your life. Your individuality is a gift, but it becomes truly powerful when it serves the collective good. Your path is to become a leader who uplifts others, a pioneer who opens doors for many, and a beacon of strength that radiates unity rather than division. For individuals whose birth year ends with the digit 2, life's spiritual journey is deeply intertwined with the concept of duality. Relationships, emotional balance, and the art of harmony. The number 2, by its very nature, signifies partnership, cooperation, and the constant dance between opposites. In Buddhism, this resonates profoundly with the teaching of the middle way, the path that avoids all extremes and seeks equilibrium between conflicting forces. People under the influence of two are often born with a heightened sensitivity to emotions, both their own and others. They possess an intuitive awareness of the moods, energies, and emotional needs of people around them. This makes them natural empaths, often highly attuned to human dynamics, social atmospheres, and emotional undercurrents. However, this gift can also feel like a burden. Their emotional radar never seems to turn off, leaving them vulnerable to emotional exhaustion and mood swings. Buddhist teachings remind us that life itself is built on the foundation of duality: night and day, joy and sorrow, success and failure, attachment and letting go. For people born under the energy of two, this duality plays out within themselves and in their external relationships. One moment, they may feel confident and peaceful, and the next, they may struggle with self-doubt and inner conflict. Similarly, their relationships can swing between deep connection and emotional distance. The karmic lesson here is learning the art of inner harmony. Just as two sides of a coin are inseparable, people with the digit 2 must understand that both their strengths and weaknesses are part of their whole being. They are learning how to navigate the waves of emotional highs and lows without becoming controlled by them. In the Buddhist tradition, this path toward harmony is cultivated through practices like mindfulness of feelings, Vedananupasana. This means becoming an observer of your own emotions without judgment, labeling, or immediate reaction. When joy arises, observe it. When sadness appears, observe that too. By becoming a neutral witness, you start to break the emotional roller coaster that people with two energy often experience. Relationships are a central theme for individuals with this digit. Whether in friendships, family ties, romantic connections, or workplace dynamics, these individuals often find their greatest spiritual growth coming from their interactions with others. Conflicts and misunderstandings in relationships are not random. They are carefully designed life lessons meant to teach patience, empathy, and effective communication. Shi Heng Yi often emphasizes that external conflicts reflect inner disharmony. This means that the relationship issues you face may often be a mirror of unresolved inner emotional patterns. For a person with the digit 2, the journey involves conscious self-reflection and emotional maturity. It's about learning to speak with kindness, listen with full presence, and act with understanding. There's also a spiritual call for people with this digit to embrace interdependence. Unlike the digit 1, which leans towards independence, those with the energy of 2 must understand the beauty and power of partnership. In Buddhism, this ties closely with the idea of Sangha, the spiritual community where collective support enhances individual growth. Additionally, individuals with the digit 2 often excel in roles that require diplomacy, mediation, and emotional leadership. However, their tendency to avoid conflict to keep peace can backfire, leading them to suppress their own needs or become passive-aggressive. The spiritual work here involves assertive communication without aggression and nurturing peace without becoming a people pleaser. Meditation techniques that focus on balancing breath, like anapanasati, mindfulness of breathing, or compassionate awareness, metta, can be highly beneficial. These help bring emotional regulation and foster the centered calmness necessary to navigate life's inevitable ups and downs. The duality within you is not a flaw, it is your spiritual teacher. The swings between joy and sorrow, attachment and detachment, connection and solitude, they are all guiding you towards the middle path, where true harmony and inner peace reside. For those whose birth year ends with the digit 3, life's spiritual path is intricately linked with growth, creativity, communication, and the delicate challenge of managing attachment. The number 3, across various spiritual traditions including Buddhism, is often seen as a symbol of dynamic energy, expansion, and expression. It represents the creative principle, the movement from thought into action, and the connection between the mind, body, and spirit. People with the energy of 3 tend to be natural communicators and creative thinkers. Their minds are often buzzing with ideas, visions, and possibilities. They are the storytellers, the visionaries, the entertainers, and the motivators. They love to share, inspire, and spread joy through words, art, or action. Their enthusiasm is contagious, often lighting up rooms and uplifting the spirits of others. However, in Buddhist philosophy, especially under the teaching of anicca impermanence, there's an important lesson that everything in this world is transient. For those carrying the vibration of 3, this becomes especially significant because their creative and emotional attachments can often become sources of suffering. One of the main karmic challenges for people with this digit is attachment to outcomes, people, and experiences. Because they invest so much passion and energy into everything they do, it becomes easy for them to cling tightly to relationships, creative projects, goals, or even moments of happiness. When things change, when people leave, when projects fail, or when plans don't go as expected, individuals with the number 3 can feel deeply wounded, disillusioned, or lost. Buddhist teachings gently remind us that suffering arises not because things change, but because we resist that change. For people with 3 energy, the lesson is to learn how to engage fully with life without becoming entangled in it. This means giving your heart to your passions, but being willing to let go when the time comes. It means enjoying connections with others, but understanding that each person is on their own karmic journey, and not everyone is meant to stay in your life forever. Shi Heng Yi often emphasizes the importance of flow and flexibility for people with highly creative and expressive energies. Creativity is like water. It must move, change shape, and find new paths. If held too tightly or forced into rigid forms, it becomes stagnant. In the same way, individuals with the digit 3 must embrace the fluid nature of life and release their tendency to control outcomes. Another dimension to consider is the overthinking and overanalyzing trait common among those with 3 energy. Their active minds can become restless, leading to anxiety, impatience, or feelings of emotional instability. This is why practices like mindfulness, meditation, vipassana, and single-pointed concentration, meditation, samatha, can be highly beneficial. These practices help calm the racing mind, cultivate focus, and bring attention back to the present moment. Additionally, because people with this digit are often highly social and outward focused, there's a risk of losing oneself in external validation. The need for applause, approval, and recognition can become a hidden attachment that drives their actions. The spiritual lesson here is to create and express not for reward, but for the pure joy of creation, to speak your truth without needing applause, to help others without expecting gratitude, and to love without demanding reciprocation. In Buddhist teachings, there's a beautiful story about the lotus flower, which grows in muddy waters yet blooms in purity and beauty. For individuals with the digit 3, this symbolizes their own journey to rise above emotional entanglements, to embrace the creative process, and to bloom freely even when life feels messy or uncertain. Master Shi Heng Yi often shares that true creativity arises from a still mind, not a restless one. This is a powerful reminder for number 3 individuals to regularly ground themselves, to spend time in silence, and to listen to their inner voice without being swayed by the noise of the outside world. By recognizing that all moments, emotions, and creations are temporary visitors, People with this digit can experience true spiritual freedom while still fully engaging with the beauty, color, and joy that life offers. For those whose birth year ends with the digit 4, life's spiritual lesson revolves around discipline, structure, perseverance, and building strong inner foundations. In Buddhist philosophy, particularly within the monastic traditions that Master Shi Heng Yi represents, discipline is seen not as a form of punishment, but as a gateway to liberation and inner peace. The number 4, symbolically, is often associated with stability and grounding. Think of the 4 directions, the 4 seasons, or the 4 noble truths in Buddhism, each representing a framework that holds everything together. People carrying the energy of 4 are called to become architects of their own lives, carefully constructing a solid spiritual and emotional foundation on which their growth can stand tall. However, this journey is rarely easy. The karmic challenges that come with this digit often manifest as periods of slow progress, frustration, and obstacles that test patience and endurance. Unlike others who may experience fast breakthroughs or sudden shifts, those influenced by the number 4 often find that success and spiritual growth come incrementally, step by step, through hard work, consistency, and unwavering commitment. Buddhism teaches that the mind is like a garden, and discipline is the act of tending that garden daily, removing weeds of negative thoughts, planting seeds of mindfulness, and watering it with daily practice. For people with 4 energy, this metaphor becomes a reality. Their spiritual journey asks them to commit to daily routines, mindful habits, and a steady path, even when external results seem slow to appear. In the Shaolin tradition, discipline is seen as the cornerstone of personal mastery. Shi Heng Yi often speaks about how monks rise before dawn, practice physical and mental training for hours, and engage in silent meditation regularly. This rigorous discipline is not because they lack freedom, but because they seek it. Similarly, individuals with the digit 4 must understand that the discipline life demands of them is not a limitation, but a tool for achieving higher levels of peace, clarity, and self-control. One of the biggest karmic tests for people with 4 energy is dealing with mental resistance and self-doubt. The mind will often whisper, "Why is this taking so long? Why are others moving faster? Why am I still stuck here?" This mental chatter is part of the spiritual test. Buddhist teachings remind us that patience khanti is one of the great perfections, paramitas, that one must cultivate on the path to enlightenment. For individuals with this number, learning to stay consistent even when motivation fades is a critical spiritual milestone. Another challenge is the tendency towards rigidity and control. Because people with 4 energy thrive on structure and predictability, sudden changes, unexpected life events, or deviations from routine can create emotional turmoil. The Buddhist teaching of impermanence anicca becomes crucial here. The lesson is to build strong foundations, but remain flexible like bamboo, able to bend without breaking when life's winds start to blow. Moreover, individuals with this digit often feel a deep inner calling towards service-oriented leadership, where their organizational skills, reliability, and moral integrity are needed by others. They are often the pillar in family units, workplaces, or communities, the person others lean on during times of crisis. This sense of responsibility, while noble, can sometimes lead to emotional burnout or feelings of being taken for granted. The spiritual growth here involves setting healthy boundaries while still fulfilling your Dharma life purpose. To assist with this journey, Buddhist practices like walking meditation, kinhin or body, focused mindfulness like observing posture and breath during daily activities are highly recommended for individuals with the digit 4. These practices help ground the mind, build awareness of the body, and strengthen the connection between inner discipline and outward action. Master Shi Heng Yi often says, "Discipline is choosing between what you want now and what you want most." For those walking the path of the number 4, this statement holds special truth. Delayed gratification, enduring effort, and faith in long-term rewards will ultimately bring the spiritual, emotional, and even material stability they seek. Your journey may seem long, your progress slow, but each small, consistent step forward is building an unshakable foundation within you. For individuals whose birth year ends with the digit 5, life's spiritual curriculum revolves around constant change, adaptability, movement, and learning the art of non-attachment. In Buddhist wisdom, particularly as taught by Master Shi Heng Yi, change is not viewed as a disruption, but as an essential and natural part of existence. This understanding forms the foundation of one of Buddhism's most fundamental teachings, Anicca, the law of impermanence. People influenced by the energy of 5 are often known for their restless spirit, curiosity, and need for variety. They thrive on new experiences, travel, exploration, and challenges that push them out of their comfort zones. This makes them adaptable and resourceful individuals who are quick to adjust to new environments, ideas, and people. They are the explorers, both in the physical and spiritual sense. However, this constant movement comes with its own set of karmic lessons. The digit 5 carries the energy of instability and unpredictability, which can manifest as difficulty in committing to long-term goals, jobs, relationships, or even spiritual practices. Just as water flows and never stays still, people with 5 energy often feel pulled by life's currents, chasing the next experience or thrill, sometimes at the expense of deeper growth. In Buddhism, the understanding of impermanence is meant to help us let go of attachment to both people and outcomes. But for individuals with the digit 5, this lesson can be difficult. While they may intellectually understand that change is inevitable, they may emotionally struggle when life shifts suddenly, whether it's the loss of a job, the end of a relationship, or a shift in health or fortune. There's often an inner conflict, a deep desire for freedom and newness battling against an unconscious yearning for stability and grounding. The spiritual task for these individuals is to cultivate inner stability amidst outer chaos. In other words, to become like a mountain in the middle of a storm, unmoved, steady, and centered even when everything around them is changing. Shi Heng Yi frequently teaches that real flexibility comes from internal strength, not external control. For individuals with this digit, practices like mindfulness meditation, especially those focusing on observing the breath or body sensations, become essential tools. These practices help anchor their often wandering minds and reconnect them with the present moment. Another challenge for those with the digit 5 is overstimulation and burnout. Their natural curiosity often drives them to take on too many projects, socialize excessively, or jump from one activity to another without giving themselves time to rest or reflect. The Buddhist principle of moderation, middle way, is especially crucial here. Life will repeatedly present situations that force these individuals to slow down, reflect, and find a middle ground between movement and stillness. Moreover, people with 5 energy may experience frequent changes in life circumstances, whether it's shifting career paths, moving to new locations, or changing social circles. Their lives rarely follow a straight line. Buddhist philosophy encourages them to embrace this unpredictability with a sense of adventure rather than fear. Each twist and turn in their journey is seen as a karmic opportunity for growth and self-discovery. Another spiritual lesson tied to this number is learning non-attachment to identity. Because of their versatile nature, people with this digit often wear many masks: the traveler, the entrepreneur, the artist, the student, the leader. The danger lies in over-identifying with these roles, leading to confusion or a fractured sense of self. Buddhism teaches that true identity is fluid, ever-changing, and ultimately empty of fixed form. Accepting this truth allows individuals with 5 energy to flow with life without clinging to any one version of themselves. Shi Heng Yi often reminds his students, when you stop resisting change, you become the change maker. For individuals with the digit 5, this means turning their natural adaptability into a conscious spiritual strength. By accepting the transient nature of all things, relationships, success, failure, even their own moods, they open themselves to a deeper state of inner peace. To support this journey, grounding practices like walking meditation, kinhin, or mindful body scanning can help reconnect them with the physical world and slow their racing thoughts. Spending time in nature, focusing on breath work, and practicing gratitude for the present moment are also deeply healing for individuals influenced by the number 5. For those whose birth year ends with the digit 6, life's spiritual journey is closely aligned with the themes of compassion, emotional sensitivity, service to others, and heart-centered living. In Buddhism, one of the most valued qualities along the path to enlightenment is karuna, compassion for all sentient beings. Master Shi Heng Yi frequently highlights that compassion is not simply an emotion, but a way of being, a conscious choice to alleviate suffering wherever we encounter it. People influenced by the number 6 often come into this world with an innate ability to care for others. They are the nurturers, the supporters, the ones who instinctively offer a shoulder to cry on or words of comfort when someone is in distress. Their energy is deeply empathetic, often picking up on the unspoken emotions and subtle energetic shifts in those around them. They feel joy when others are happy and often carry the sadness of others in their own hearts. However, this profound emotional sensitivity also brings with it a series of unique karmic challenges. One of the greatest lessons for individuals with this digit is learning how to balance compassion for others with compassion for themselves. Because of their natural inclination to help and heal, they may frequently neglect their own emotional, physical, and spiritual needs. They may say yes when they truly want to say no, sacrificing their own well-being for the sake of peace or to avoid disappointing others. Buddhist teachings emphasize that true compassion includes oneself. Master Shi Heng Yi often speaks about the empty cup principle. You cannot pour into others if your own cup is empty. For people with the energy of 6, this lesson is critical. Life will repeatedly present situations that push them to set boundaries, practice self-care, and recognize when their acts of giving are coming from genuine love versus when they are rooted in guilt, obligation, or fear of rejection. Another karmic lesson tied to the digit 6 is emotional awareness without emotional overwhelm. Individuals with this number can sometimes become deeply entangled in the emotional dramas and problems of others, absorbing their suffering as if it were their own. This emotional entanglement can lead to compassion fatigue, anxiety, or emotional burnout. Buddhist mindfulness practices encourage these individuals to develop the ability to witness suffering without becoming consumed by it. This means observing another's pain with presence and love, offering help when appropriate, but maintaining emotional clarity and inner peace. Meditation practices focused on metta-loving, kindness, and Tonglen giving and taking meditation are especially beneficial for number 6 individuals. These practices help cultivate a compassionate heart while also strengthening emotional resilience. Learning how to send love to oneself, to friends, to strangers, and even to difficult people teaches balance between care and detachment. Furthermore, individuals with the digit 6 often feel a deep sense of responsibility for for others' happiness and well-being. This karmic tendency may show up as overprotectiveness, controlling behavior masked as care, or even martyrdom, where one suffers in silence, believing that their suffering somehow helps others. Buddhism teaches that suffering for the sake of suffering is not noble. The true spiritual path is to help others from a place of joy, inner balance, and mindful choice. In interpersonal relationships, people with the energy of 6 often experience codependency issues. They may attract people who rely too heavily on their emotional support, leading to one-sided relationships. The spiritual work here is learning detachment with love. Being able to love deeply without becoming emotionally enslaved is a major milestone on their path. Shi Heng Yi also emphasizes the importance of emotional discipline for individuals with this number. This doesn't mean suppressing feelings, but understanding them, giving them space, and not allowing them to dictate every action or reaction. People with 6 energy are encouraged to engage in daily reflective practices such as journaling, mindful breathing, or even silent sitting to develop greater emotional clarity. Their destiny often places them in roles where they are caregivers, teachers, counselors, healers, or community leaders, positions that require emotional intelligence and the ability to hold space for others. Yet, their ultimate spiritual lesson is to realize that the greatest healer is one who has first healed themselves. In Buddhist philosophy, equanimity, upekkha, is seen as the perfect partner to compassion. For individuals with the digit 6, cultivating equanimity will ensure that their compassion remains sustainable and wise, not reactive or draining. This balance between heart and mind allows them to offer help from a grounded place rather than an emotionally overwhelmed state. So as we've seen today, the last digit of your birth year is more than just a number. It is a symbolic key, a small yet profound reflection of your karmic journey, your inner strengths, your challenges, and your unique spiritual lessons in this lifetime. Whether you are learning to embrace emptiness like those with the digit 0, mastering individuality like those with the digit 1, seeking harmony like the 2s, overcoming attachment like the 3s, building discipline like the 4s, flowing with change like the 5s, or cultivating compassion like the 6 is. Each digit offers its own doorway to self-awareness and personal growth. Buddhist wisdom teaches us that life's signs and symbols are always pointing us back to ourselves, urging us to pause, reflect, and awaken to deeper truths. As Master Shi Heng Yi reminds us time and again, the external world is only a reflection of the internal world. So today, take this insight as an invitation, not just to understand a number, but to look within, observe your patterns, embrace your strengths, and grow through your challenges. Let your birth year's final digit be not just a piece of trivia, but a stepping stone toward your personal transformation and spiritual awakening. Thank you for listening. May you walk your path with mindfulness, strength, and compassion.